This is The Litter Box, a Detroit Lions podcast with your hosts, Chet West and Bill Patterson.
Lions Litter Box listeners, exciting times. Week 1 is upon us, and the Detroit Lions, your Honolulu Blue and Silver, are traveling to the hallowed, fabled grounds of the frozen tundra, which it won't be in September, of Lambeau Field.
But it will be a little chilly this weekend, Bill.
Oh, yeah?
A little bit. I mean, we're looking at 60 probably.
Okay. Well, that's still warm for Lambeau.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, the Packers have the longest home opener winning streak in the NFL, currently at 21 games, and that is something that I think is going to fall. So that's a little teaser for you on this. I'm going to get into Lambeau, food, and a story.
Have you been? So you've been to Lambeau. I've never been to Lambeau.
Yes.
I haven't had this experience yet. You've been there.
And this is the first time I went, and it's the best time I went, and it's a great story. So bear with me.
As much as I hate the Packers and Lambeau, I feel like it's kind of like going to a football church in a way.
It was going to the high church. So, a bunch of us came in from out of town. We somehow secured practice jerseys off the Lions website, and they were all number 95, some guy named Chalinsky that never made it out of summer camp. So we all had matching jerseys, and we drove up a little hot because we had a holiday party the night before. It was a December game with Joey Harrington versus Brett Favre, and we show up at Lambeau in our Chalinsky jerseys wearing full ski snowboard outfits. Caps, multiple pairs of long underwear, snowboard boots, or, Sorels. And it's cold. They flexed the game to the 3:25 start for TV purposes. We show up with a football, a grill, and a cooler, thinking that we are going to tailgate with the best of them in the hallowed grounds, not realizing that they had built an atrium at Lambeau Field. They have a Packers Hall of Fame, a brewery, chili, all sorts of delicious encased meats, in live bands inside the atrium. So we spend the first 2 hours freezing our keisters off, tossing around a football, trying to figure out where everybody is, because people park and then just vanish. And only to find out, we finally walk past the porta-johns to go into the atrium just to check out what's going on and realize that we were the rubes that had been suffering when everybody else was like sampling or eating this delicious chili, which is the good food to get there. So really quick, 2 things you have to do at Lambeau Field. 1, you have to get the chili. It sells out usually at the end of the first quarter. It's divine. Don't know what they put in it. Probably don't want to know. Number 2, you have to get a Sheboygan brat, and you got to load that thing up with stadium mustard, and you got to scarf it down. It's not a pocket wiener. Let's just say that. You got to eat it hot there. Also, when we went the 3rd week of December, it was freezing cold. So much, in fact, that your Miller Lite, which is the drink of choice, would have ice crystals about 2/3 of the way down. So you had to drink it fast. And that's kind of my telltale is if you go, take part in the atrium, enjoy the atrium, see the live music, partake in the Packers Hall of Fame, enjoy the clean indoor restrooms and plumbing that they have. You don't need to suffer like our grandfathers and forefathers did.
This is part of what I guess shocks me, and I think it shocked you guys. Like, they have this nice experience indoors that I wouldn't have thought. My images are of guys eating sausages, out of the back of their car in a parking lot at some rough tailgate where smoke is blowing out of everybody's mouth because it's -5 degrees out or something. That's fantastic.
We need to make the trip for you sometime.
At some point.
They've really elevated it and made it like the whole, I don't want to compare it to religion, but it is like the bucket list, top thing for NFL or football fans.
It's the temple. It's the temple.
Yeah, it has a much more collegiate atmosphere, but it's huge is the other thing.
So we're looking at a game here that's getting, there's already the hyperbole is already spinning around this thing as to what Mike Parsons is going to do for the Packers. And are the Lions going to be okay without Ben Johnson? Are we going to see what kind of a game are we going to see here? The Packers never lose on opening day at Lambeau. I'm kind of starting to look at this as how much of this is going to fall with a big thud, like the whole Parsons thing. Do you think he makes that big a difference?
So let's talk keys to the game, and I'll answer your question within that.
Yeah.
Number 1, he's having some back problems. And so he's questionable whether to play. The other portion of that, even if he does play, some of his worst or most ineffective games in his professional career have been going up against Penei Sewell. So I think that's a matchup to watch. If he does line up against Taylor Decker, I think it's favorable for Micah Parsons, but not considerably favorable. Yes, he'll make a difference. He's a difference maker. He's a top, 10, 15 player in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
His health is paramount, and I don't know how healthy he is. I think the thing that's not being talked about enough is how awesome Clark was in terms of being a run stopper. He was the longest tenured Packer. He's now a Cowboy, and he stuffed and stopped the run in last night's kickoff classic, or whatever we want to call it, for the Cowboys. So Kenny Clark being gone, I think, is a bigger issue. And I think this game comes down to really a very simple equation. If the Lions revamped offensive line with Glasgow at center, Mahogany and Ratledge at the guards, if they're operating and providing lanes for Sonic and Knuckles to be able to run, the Lions are going to have their fourth straight win at Lambeau Field, and the Packers streak is going to be over, which I think it is. I mean, 21's really impressive.
It is. It's extremely impressive.
And the Lions get up for this game. The other X factor that I think is going on is that the Packers' top corner is a little banged up. And if they're not getting home and disrupting Jared Goff's timing, which Jared Goff's timing is going to be contingent on how well they're running the ball. Play action is Jared Goff's best friend. I think Amon St. Brown is going to have a monster day. And we all know that he wears the F Green Bay shirt under his jersey. He loves this game. One of my favorite photos of all time is the Packer fans flipping him off, and he's blowing them kisses as he runs out the tunnel a few seasons ago. So I think those are kind of my keys to the game. Lions run the ball, play action's working, and I think the Lions are going to have somewhat of a field day if all those things go.
The Packers' defensive backfield is supposed to be their weakness. Okay. And we're going into this thinking, the Lions will throw all over them. And that, they have Parsons now. So that fixes the whole passing defense because they're going to have a pass rush now, and that'll instantly make their defensive backs better. And we've seen this in Detroit year over year. When you figure out how to throw against that pass rush, poor defensive backs are going to be poor defensive backs regardless. You can pick them apart eventually. And especially if you get the running game going. And without Clark clogging things up, this Lion team might be taking 5-6 yard chunks every run play. I'm not saying this is going to be a blowout. Don't get me wrong. That's not the case here. But the general gist of this is that the Lions are now no longer the favorite. Packers are the favorite, even in the division. So I'm trying to figure out how the Lions have lost so much ground just because of a Micah Parsons trade. Don't get me wrong. Packers won 11 games last year. Good team. Jordan Love, good quarterback. I still think he's beatable for us. He's not one of those quarterbacks that causes us fits, so to speak, like a Lamar Jackson.
Agree with everything you said. And Nate Hobbs is who I was discussing. He is the de facto alpha, cornerback on an island, locks down your number one, but he will be assigned most likely to St. Brown. And he had a foot procedure recently. Like, he didn't do it in the offseason, and he's still listed as questionable. So is Micah Parsons, and then so is Green Bay center Elgton Jenkins. And there's a big drop-off from Jenkins to Sean Ryan, the backup. And then after that, another thing to just for our listeners to look at is Jacob Monk and Travis Glover are the backup third-string center, third-string right guard, but that's essentially their backup guards. They're both on IR. So the Packers are a little bit beat up. The other thing about the receiver room, Chet, is Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks are both questionable for this game, as is Savion Williams. So basically through the air, the Packers are asking a rookie, Matthew Golden and Romeo Dobbs, to really go up against this revamped and strong Lions secondary. So if Aiden Hutchinson and Marcus Davenport can get home and Tyleek Williams and DJ Reader can hold the line of scrimmage and prevent Josh Jacobs from gashing them, I really like the Lions' chances. If the Packers can run Josh Jacobs wild and Williams and Reed can't hold the point of attack, that the linebackers, aren't making that first tackle through, a yard two beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long day. Josh Jacobs is the one weapon that really scares me on this Packers offense.
Run defense is going to get tested in this game a little bit.
Absolutely.
I have a feeling we're going to find out what we got there.
Yeah.
And our injuries, I don't think we've been, aside from the guys that we know that are out, like the Paschals, I get that. But the guys that have popped up on the report that are still sitting there are like Nowaski and Vaki, who are not guys that we were expecting to contribute a whole ton in this game.
Outside of special teams, no.
Yeah, so I'm thinking we're as healthy as expected from day one of camp going into game one of the season. So that's an upside. That's a good thing for us. I'd like to see us stay healthy because last year that did not work out after week one.
Especially on one side of the ball.
Yeah, exactly. We lost quite a few starters. So I'll be looking to see that run game. I think the Packers could exploit us with the run. We'll see how good if our defense has improved by leaps and bounds. I think there's no way we couldn't have not improved to some degree or another just by being healthy. Curious to see how Aiden Hutchinson plays in this game. Are you at all are you anticipating anything there, or do you think we're going to see the same old Hutch?
I think we're going to see the same old Hutch. I think he's going to come out like he was shot out of a cannon.
Just a gamer.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a monster game.
And Terrion Arnold, he's going to be a huge piece to this defensive backfield this year.
Yeah, and if Reed is not 100%, that makes his job a lot easier.
Much easier.
So then he's on Golden, who's a rookie. He's probably going to manhandle him just a little bit. And then that leaves Romeo Doubs as your number one receiver to try to beat us. And I like the Lions secondary more than I like Romeo Doubs.
I like those odds. And speaking of odds, what do we have, Bill? We've got a spread here. First spread of the season. Are you shocked that the Lions are getting 2 at this point?
What are you seeing? It's been all over the map. It was like as high as 2.5. I think it bumped to 3 right after the Parsons trade. It's dipped down to 1.5. It's fine. I mean, if every team should get a field goal at home. Yeah. So basically what the Sharps
Lions are favored by 1.
Yeah, the Sharps are saying that they expect a Lions win. It's going to be close to what you already said. And Chet, I couldn't agree with you more. I don't think this is going to be a blowout unless there's one X factor. If Hutch and Davenport and company get home and force Jordan Love into bad
decisions
and turnovers. Let's just say the turnover margin, for whatever reason, the Packers have 3, the Lions don't have any. That's where the game could get lopsided.
Okay, yeah.
And what I mean by lopsided is 8 points, 10 points, 12 points, something like that. Those are some of the keys to the game that I see. What did I leave out that you'd like to add on?
Well, the over-under's 47. I'm going to give you a prediction eventually here. I've got some thoughts on how this thing ends. We got an over-under of 47. I think this game goes under. And I think it goes under due to the fact that I think the run game is going to be heavily utilized here in Green Bay this weekend. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling both these teams see a weakness in the other defense, and it centers around the run. I'm going to go final score, Lions 23, Packers 20.
Okay.
I think that's where I'm sitting on this one. So you're going under on the over-under, and Lions win by 3. So they're going to cover that spread and the money line for that matter, which is plus 124. You're not getting much there with that, but
no,
it's going to be a close game. What are your thoughts on final score?
I had it at 24-20. So
wow, okay.
we're
I just see like some red zone failures turning into a field goal or 2. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Week 1 and all.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility.
And I do think it's going to be a strong running game. For those listeners that like fantasy call-outs, I would avoid either quarterback on this game because of everything we're just saying. And the Sharps are, giving that over-under at it's well below 50, or below 50. If you have Josh Jacobs, that would be a start. If you have Jahmyr Gibbs, that would be a start. If you have David Montgomery, that would be a start. If you have tight ends like Tucker,
I would go with a tight end.
Yeah, here. Musgrave or Tucker Kraft or Sam Laporta, please don't tell me you have Brock Wright or Shane Zylstra on your fantasy team. If you're looking for help.
That's a losing start right off the bat.
You don't want to do that. So I would say the tight ends. And then the only receiver I'd probably put in the must-start list would probably be St. Brown. Yeah. I just think he's going to get
see a lot of short crossing patterns for him and whatnot in this game.
I can see 8+ catches. So that's another prop bet that I would probably take. I've seen that out there.
This is not a Jameson Williams game, probably.
If he does, he's going to get
it'll be like one big one that they pop or something.
3, maybe 4 touches. I could see JMO scoring.
That's a gamble, though.
You're not,
you've got
touchdown,
better options.
Yeah, I would.
You're not playing JMO.
Yeah. Do you disagree with any of my fantasy thoughts?
I don't. I'm right on you with the running backs. I think the running backs are going to be the key to fantasy points in this game. I think the quarterbacks are both going to have a suppressed point output. I wouldn't go with Love or Goff in a single QB league, definitely. I like your call on Amon-Ra. It's interesting, and he's been sick this week, but are we going to see a Tisla sighting out there? Is he going to play a role? He could be like your possession guy out on the boundary. I don't know. Maybe. I'm kind of hoping for it. I don't know why. I just want to see this kid do well.
Yeah.
He's kind of a guy I'm on him a little bit,
Totally fair, totally fine. I
wouldn't play him if I got him in one of my fantasy. I'm not playing him. But I
don't know if this is the week.
But let's see.
I do think this is a body blow game and critical for whoever wins it because I think the loser's going to be beat up in a big way. Well, the winner's going to be beat up as well, but they'll have won. And the Lions host the Chicago Bears and Benedict Johnson week 2.
Such an interesting start to our season this year.
Yeah, it really is. Like 2 must-watch games.
After the last 2 where we've started with the Chiefs it's just crazy.
Yeah. So I like the Lions' chances on that. The Packers then host the Commanders week 2. So it's always interesting. The Lions in the past, let's just say 2-3 seasons, really beat teams up. And the week following teams just aren't their same selves.
Watch Vikings Bears this weekend?
It's Monday night, yes.
Yeah. You're going to watch him Monday night?
Of course.
I want to see Benedict's first game, see what he's got. I don't know that the Vikings go where J.J. McCarthy goes, so we'll see how he does.
X factor in that game is Harrison Smith not being 100%. He's 36 years old. He has been the key and captain to the Vikings defense.
Look at you with the deep NFC North dig there.
If he doesn't go, I like the Bears' chances a lot.
Okay.
Although I imagine Kevin O'Connell will have
something.
Very well-designed playbook for J.J. McCarthy.
All right, so we gave the Lions to cover. We got the Lions to cover. We got the under. We think the Lions are going to win the game by about a field goal or hair more.
And I'm going to go the Bears in the other division game. So you're going to be Green Bay and Minnesota fans. You're going to be looking up at the standings after 1 week. And then,
boy, Bill has thrown down the gauntlet early. All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode. We'll be back with some reactions post-game next week. Everybody have a good week 1. You're in bloom. Your flower is blooming right now for the football season. Enjoy yourselves. See you next week.
Honolulu Blue and Silver.